Recording in progress.
So, hey everyone, we are now joined by 100 Thieves who came out of victorious in a very, very close matchup against Acend. Again, we first start with some pre-submitted questions and then open the floor for live online questions before handing the mic to the on-site journalist. If you wish to ask a question, please raise your hand. I'm going for the first pre-submitted question. This one is from Declan McLaughlin, upcomer. As two veterans who've played at various events around the world, have you ever had equipment issues like that with the white noise and the various tech pauses in the group stage at a major event like this before? This one is for 100 Thieves Steel and Hiko.
I'll start it off, I guess.
No, let me, because
Okay.
I actually haven't been in a lot of international events, so I don't really have a lot of experience with noise canceling or anything. I've never been on like a stage where it was a factor, basically. So I don't really have any say in this. I have less experience than these guys, so I'll let Spencer take it away.
I would say that it certainly was less than optimal. I think a lot of the sound issues could have been fixed if there was any kind of, if they asked any of the pros, if they tested it beforehand. I think it definitely could have been better. At least everyone is playing under the same circumstances, so there's no kind of advantage or anything. But I definitely think that moving forward, at a big tournament like this, a major tournament, these kind of sound issues shouldn't exist. And, if Riot or anybody wants to reach out to any of us, I'm sure we would all gladly be willing to help or give our advice or, whatever. So.
All right, next one is from Brandon Moore, Run It Back. This was the first time 100 Thieves have ran with Jet on Breeze. You played Jet back in April, and then all the way back in October before that. Can we hear a bit about what went into that agent's selection? This one is for Nitro.
It was kind of a last minute discussion that we had on Breeze, but I was opting full-time on Omen, so we figured a lot of teams are running one controller on the map, and if they can do it, then we can do it. And I think Jet just does everything better than Omen in the opping aspect of things. So I think that was like the main things that we took into account whenever we had the discussions.
Next one is from Sage, Esports GG, and this one is for the whole team. This one puts you in a position to where you can guarantee VCT champions with an Envy loss to Sentinels. Talk to me about your thoughts on that matchup and what it feels like to be so close to qualifying.
I think we all just hope they lose.
Go Sentinels!
#SenWin.
Got another one from Brandon Moore, Run It Back. 100 Thieves is a team of experience. That experience showed through the comeback on Breeze. How in the world did you guys pull that off?
You can go first.
We take the game more seriously when we are down and we stop trolling as much. So it's easier. Like if we went in and you changed the scoreboard and said like we were losing the game 4-8 when it was like 0-0, we'd be insane. We'd 13-0 everyone.
I think the other team just gets nervous against us every time whenever they get a big lead.
Yeah, I think it shows that we have a lot of resilience and we're a hard team to put down. We even since like the birth of the team with this roster, I don't know how many times a team has took us to overtime and lost. I think if there's some kind of like a stat on how many times we've actually taken it to overtime and won out of overtime, it's got to be 70-80%. So I speak for myself, but as long as we stay focused and we know that until the game is actually over, we're not out of it yet. We take it to overtime and we can close it out. I think that's leaps and miles ahead of a lot of these other teams, and I think the teams definitely get nervous against us, and we just elevate our game when we're in that life or death situation.
All right, next one is from Mitch Reams, Nerd Street Gamers. When down to the last round on the last map, how important was the LAN experience of this roster when it comes to making the comeback possible?
I was going to say, I feel like whenever the pressure's on them, it feels like they don't want to make plays, individual plays, so that we can take that into account whenever we're creating our strats on our attack. So we knew that they really probably weren't going to, so they weren't playing like they were up. They're playing like they're trying to play to lose, I guess you could say.
Playing not to lose.
Yeah. So like we knew they weren't going to really like, try to make like an insane like jet dash play, like some crazy stuff that you'd see if they're up like 12-0 or something. So I think just whenever we're taking that into our strat book, I feel like we're so much better.
I think in a lot of these late games when we're in these rounds where, I think of like the very last round, we're in a 5v2 and we're just saying, hey, it's fine. We got this, settle down. I think some teams that, don't have that kind of experience or the veteran status, as I keep hearing it called, people get antsy and people get like, they feel like they need to make a play sometimes and they make mistakes. And I think that we have good control when we know the pressure is on to not make those mistakes when it could cost us the life of a tournament. So.
All right, I'll now open the floor for live online questions. Please raise your hand if you wish to ask something. First to go is Dustin Steiner, Esports GG.
Hey guys, congrats on the win. What are your thoughts on going up against Sentinels or Envy in the semifinals? What are your thoughts on like each matchup?
I think anybody. Yeah, I'll just answer this because I'm the only one with the mic up right now. Envy, obviously, we've had better series against them than we have against Sentinels in the past. So obviously, if Sentinels beats Envy, which I think most teams do expect to happen, I think Envy does have a chance to beat Sentinels, and a lot of people are going to be surprised or upset. But I think our matchup with Envy is better for us. Not to say that we're 100% going to beat them, but pretty good, 95% chance. And against Sentinels, obviously we've done not so well against them in the last 4 or 5 series or something. They've beat us every time. We've taken maps off them. We know they're beatable. Other teams here have taken maps off them as well. So we know that if you can bleed type of thing. So either of the matchups is going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. I have confidence that we're going to be able to pull through though. And if it's happens to be Sentinels, then that's also pretty good for us because that also means that we've qualified for champions.
Next to go is Niall from Discord Esports.
Yeah, my question is about CNED in particular. He seemed to kind of take over a lot of that game on Breeze. Nitro kind of hinted, I'm not sure how much of it was a joke, but he kind of hinted in his post-match interview that you guys were avoiding CNED near the end of the match. So I guess what were your strats near the end of the game there?
I think they obviously play a lot around their star player CNED. He's very talented. He seemed like he wasn't really getting too nervous, which is surprising because I think he's a very young player, an up-and-coming star. So props to him on that. But I think just in general, it was there was some truth to that. But the thing is, he's their flex player, which means he's the one who moves around a lot. So if he's their flex, so we were just kind of avoiding him because that's if we have one controller, he can probably get some pretty easy picks on us. So we're that was part of our game plan for sure.
But I think another part of the game plan is he has the only operator on the team, and that's a very powerful weapon for this map specifically because there's a lot of long ranges. So with that character that he plays and with the weapon that he plays, he can go and get a lot of unpunished picks. And if he's able to pick off someone who's a really key component of a round for us, then that's really bad. So if he picks me off in one round, we have no info denial. We can't really safely take map control because everything's going to be a better duel for him. So my life becomes very valuable and I need to avoid him basically. So with the rest of our roster, it's hard to go up against him if he's got a good line and he gets an unpunished kill because the game just becomes 5 times harder if that happens.
Next is Hitbox King.
Okay, guys, first of all, congratulations for the victory. There was a lot of energy going on the stage with a lot of trash talk, giving kind of old school vibes. Can you, the veterans on the team, talk a bit about this thing? How you managed to keep your cool during these rounds when the guys are shouting and trying to kind of taunt you?
Yeah, obviously, it pumps me up a little bit. Even if they are yelling at me or I see them standing up and saying stuff to me, I'll just say stuff right back, even if we just lost a round, even if it was a huge round loss and a really bad one, because at the end of the day, it's we're out here to do a job. We're here to win, and it's very competitive, and it just adds such a different element to the entire situation and the energy and the environment and everything when they are able to get as animated as we or I am. And then the other part of it is, if we go in and we're like quiet within ourselves, even if like we win around, I feel like that's not really good. I feel like this game is very momentum based. And if you don't ride that momentum wave, then you're doing yourself a huge disservice. There's zero reason not to get hyped about winning a huge round. And there's no reason why you should, tilt at your teammates or yourself if you lose a bad round. Because if you start doing that, then the rest of the game is going to slip away from you.
Okay, thank you.
Got another one from Dustin Steiner.
So how does the pressure of this event compare to CSGO majors that you guys have competed in the past?
I've played like 5 CSGO majors, and this is, light work for me because, with all that experience, it's just really easy. And yeah, we just sneak dubs like that.
Yeah, I'm on his side. But in all seriousness, I think this format gives people a little more pressure, especially in this specific format where we need somebody to lose and we need to win specific games to be able to qualify for Worlds or Champions. There's more consequences than just losing this one BO3 and going out of this tournament. There's still another tournament to think about.
Thank you.
Next to go is Pedro Romero to Click.
Hey guys, congrats on the win. Since the semifinals ensures that the grand finals will be an NAEU matchup, I want to know what you guys think of G2 since they beat Sentinels, and then also of Gambit since you defeated them in the group stage. And this goes for anyone.
Yeah, I think since we've beaten Gambit and Acend here, and Sentinels has only beat G2 once, and they lost the second series to them, I think that we would be the better representatives for a North America European matchup.
I think I speak for all of us here. We have a very, very, very high respect level for Gambit. We think they're incredible. As for G2, it seems like Kellogg specifically hasn't missed a shot in, I think, a week and a half. So we're going to be looking forward to that if that is our matchup.
Do we have any more live online questions? All right, tossing the mic to the on-site press. First to go is GG Reckon.
Hi guys, congratulations on your win. I just want to touch a little bit on what you said about starting slow and the fact that if you started for 8 down, that you would then go on and 13-0 someone. Technically, it's not necessarily a sustainable tactic, like long term. How do you guys think you can combat that in the future and make sure that you don't give yourselves a mountain to climb every game?
Obviously, it's not something that we go out and kind of just be like, we're doing on purpose that we're having slow starts. I don't know specifically what it is. It's hard to diagnose specifically just because it happens so frequently, and we'll do a number of things before the game. Like we'll be physically warm, we'll do mental warm-ups, we'll do all sorts of things, but there's something that just doesn't specifically click until a certain moment. And that could be something that we can't stimulate, I guess, like organically until it happens in the match. So if there's a way, and we're still searching for one, we'll definitely try to, figure that out and implement that for the next games. But until then, I feel like we just have to ride with it.
I think a lot of it stems from us losing so many pistol rounds. And then when we win the pistol round, we lose the anti-eco. So just the snowball is really hard. So we need to work on that for sure.
Yeah. And just to add on to that, this game is 1st to 13. There's honestly, like with the pistol rounds, and then there's ulti economy, it's very easy for teams to snowball away because, one good read, one good clutch, one good, important round early on that secures them another gun round and puts you on eco round. And then they get to like stagger their ultimates. If they're working the map well, they get the orbs well. And it becomes so much harder in this game compared to what we're used to in Counter-Strike, where it's like you can kind of just reset the enemy very easily if you play the situation right. But with like, a dart that gives like wall hacks, basically, you can see the enemies through walls, and you can have laser beams coming out. And, if you're on eco, you just use these daggers that you throw at people. And I feel like that sways the results of games drastically.
Do Do we have any more questions from on-site press?
Just a little bit more about on the antics that are on stage. Steele, this is probably more directed to yourself. There was one moment in that game where we saw on the broadcast that you kind of reacted to what they said and you kind of went like, sit down. I don't know whether that was so like on purpose or whether it was just like to yourself. It wasn't quite clear. But was that the moment? Because after that, you started going bang, bang, bang and hitting every round. Was that the moment in your head where you got a little bit fed up and then started taking control of the map?
Are you basically like comparing me to the Incredible Hulk or something? Like the more angry I get, I just like Hulk smash things.
Not on purpose, but you said like you've just reflected on there's a moment in the game where it clicks for you all. Was there a bit of a point where you got fed up with the antics and decided like we're gonna start turning it on here?
Again, when it comes back to like antics, if we're pumping each other up because we're having a good game, if someone's able to like burst that bubble, then it kind of like sucks. Like the contrast between having like a sick round and having a sick like string of rounds where you're winning like 3, 4, 5 rounds in a row, everyone's feeling it, everyone's feeling good. And then you just get like shut down like a horrible round loss by some like ridiculousness. It's the same thing. If he's standing up, he's shouting at me, he's like waving his hands around and everything like that. Just tell him to sit down and, you know, just deal with him in the server as well. And he'll shut up real quick.
All right, that concludes the press conference for you today. Thanks, 100 Thieves, for joining.